Welcome to our podcast. I'm Jim McLennan. I want to talk about how to use the ground and how to corkscrew. And you could think of this as push on the ground and the ground pushes back. And I'd like to even go there because that's a saying that applies to contact force and to physics. And the idea is that if you're standing on thin ice and you pushed, you'll go through. But if you stand on something firm and you push down and you push now, the ground pushes you back up. I know that sounds a little funny, but to me, when people talk about using your legs in the game of tennis, it's about when you push and what you're doing with your hips. When you push and what you're doing with your hips. So let me count a 3-count beat on a forehand. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm trying to show you that I'm firing the knees on the beat between 2 and 3. 1, 2.5, 3. The same would go for a serve. 1, 2.5, 3. And many times I think the common error is that people overuse the legs too soon instead of underusing them later. And I think even if we use our good friend Roger Federer, you see that he uses his legs, but it's not this massive knee drive, it's adequate. So let me talk about corkscrewing, the idea about how you'd drive a corkscrew down into a bottle of wine and then up and out. The other thing you try to do when you use the ground is to really feel that when going down, you're corkscrewing, and when coming up, you're coming up and out. Down and in, up and out. Down and in, up and out. Down and in, up and out. And what I think happens in tennis is that many of the tips and instructional devices, they're all useful, but there's so many darn ones of them that you've got to memorize a lot of stuff. And to me, this idea about corkscrewing applies to every stroke in tennis. I can push on the ground and the ground pushes back on a backhand. 1, 2.5, 3. 1, 2.5, 3. And I think that many times players are prone to say, if the coach said bend the knees, I'm really going to bend them. But to me, there's more about rhythm and artistry or music, so that all the elements are used, but nothing's overdone. If you want to get a better use of the ground, you push on the ground and the ground pushes back. And if you want to do it even better than that, you try to have your hips engaged so they're rotating. And I'll count the beats again. 1, 2.5, 3. 1, 2.5, 3. 1, 2.5, 3. 1, 2.5, 3. The ground is your friend. Push on it. It'll help you out.